God gives those certain individuals, I guess, another chance. It's not their time. I was weeping horribly. I remember crying so bad because I saw my life and I saw hell at the same time. So if I would have died at that time, taken me, I would have been trapped, so to speak, between both. And I guess the Catholics would call that purgatory, so to speak, where you get to see, as the Bible was quoted, as you can see the greatness of heaven, and you can see the depths of hell. And as I said, I'm not here preaching any religion, because I am a Christian, yes, but I'm not against any religion, because God does hear all prayers. And that's the next part of this that I want to get into, is that, but as I said, I was truly given another chance. And when you look at Jesus Christ as is the Son of God, Jesus Christ is a soul who reached the highest plane and chosen by God to die on the cross for the sake of mankind, for other souls, as an example for the sin. Because what I saw, as when we are created with free will. As I say, the biblical stories have been changed so many times, and it comes back, and you'll go back to Adam and Eve, and that story, so to speak, is what I saw in a sense. In other words, we're given free will. You have the choice, and our decisions here and our path are what they are. And the soul will live by them, period. But we are all here connected. And you people use the word love. There's agape love, which is the words used in the Bible for love. That's true love of another person, of another soul. And back to Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, they were all souls chosen. I mean, I hate to say that, but I shouldn't say I hate to say that. I know a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, because they're so, but it's all the same. If you look at the teachings, and I have after this happened to me, and I've read, and I don't go by everything I read, because, as I said, the books of the Bible have been twisted, and God shows those, and to set a purpose and a meaning, and they're warnings. They're warnings. They are to tell others, and as Jesus' teachings, which I know more than I do of the others, but I know the others because I've studied them as well since this happened to me over the years. If you read them all, you'll look and see that they basically have the same conception. Love one another. And that there's a heaven and there's a hell, so to speak. And there is a heaven and a hell. Those are the words you want to use. The darkness and the light. And that's why I'm not against any religion. I'm against fanatics who have taken it and twisted it and turned it into, and it's about control of others, and they've turned it into, and that's, again, as I said, the human brain, the human body itself needs a closure as to what their purpose is. While inside, the soul knows what the purpose is. Some reach a higher enlightenment to understand this. And whether it's Christianity or, as I said, Muslims, it doesn't matter. It's the same meaning. It's just that the teachings of each have been turned around in different ways to have different beliefs. But the core of it is still the same. And the signs are everywhere in your life. You have to see them. And they are there, of what path you're supposed to take. And if you make the decisions to do things, then that's the decision you have to live by. The soul lives by. And then there's a time when the soul dies. And it's supposed to die at a certain period of time. And it also can die by its choices, as well as some are chosen to lead a path and then their time is up. And obviously you can't live beyond the age of the body. The body can only house. And that's why when you see people where this Easter and Jesus rose, souls rise. I mean, you rise from the body, the dead body. At death, you rise from the body, and the soul goes. As I said, it can stay trapped. It can go to heaven. It can go to hell. In between. And I believe, from what I saw, that there's no way out of hell. The halfway point, yes. This is such a deep subject for me, and I want to express to people that, and I saw some other things, and I'm going to go into them now. But before I get on that, please know that we are all in this together. And that's the key. And there's going to come a point, from what I saw, of enlightenment for souls here. And it's going to come probably from a tragedy, a world tragedy, or world something's going to happen. And I believe it's happening. And I'm not trying to be some prophetical, that's not what I'm here trying to do. So please, people, understand what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying I'm here to deliver a message that the world's coming to an end, that this is this and this is that. No, I'm just telling you what I saw and what I have come to hold and never really tell for all this time. And I can say straightforward that I was at a point in my life where my soul, when this happened to me, I was broken. And I was blessed with another chance. I'm getting goosebumps and my hair is standing up on my arms here talking about this. And since this accident, I have come to be able to sort of understand people more and see their pain and happiness, but mostly the pain. And I saw the pain that I've caused others. And when I died, you see everything. Everything is there. Everything. Every action has a reaction. And that's what I try to say. It's so true. Every action has a reaction. Words that you say to somebody, what you do to someone, or a promise you broke, or not moving on with something that you're supposed to move on with. And you get trapped. And you get trapped. We are all in this together. All of us. And part of this is that I saw that we have done this to ourselves over and over and over again. We've imploded ourselves over and over and over again. Human beings have imploded each other, i.e. souls. And It's learning. And from what I get is that there'll be a time when we don't implode each other, implode ourselves, and that there's a higher enlightenment, and then things change. And there's so many, and that's why I don't want to get into so many religious things, because that's not what this is about. The show, or what I'm about. I'm not one to preach a certain religion, and I never will. I have my beliefs and what I know has happened to me, but we're all connected, regardless of whatever religion you are. Again, Jewish, it doesn't matter. We're all souls. And there's going to be a time, and I fully believe from what I saw, that there's going to be a time that souls are going to be enlightened, and they're going to come together to get it right, so to speak. And it's going to take tragedy to probably bring that about, from what I saw, not see now. But sorry, this is a deep subject for me, and then sometimes because after I died and I came back, it took me a long time to grasp what I saw, and then I kept looking at my life, and I had to find me. I had to find myself, and I went through hell on earth, so to speak, to do that. But I had to do that. That was the purpose. It's refinement. And they say, the Bible, and I'm going to throw it out there again. They say Bible is, you refine something to get it's like taking a piece of coal and refining it to make it a diamond, so to speak. The souls we are that way. And, when I talk about other shows, you have to fall and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. If you follow the signs, and that means from words from others and things that happen in your life, everything is there, and you just have to look for the signs. And they'll point you in the right direction, and you have to be open to learning, open to change, and open to learning and seeing what's right for you, what's supposed to be. And not all of it is the right meaning, not the right. Not everything is nice. Suffering is part of living. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Suffering is part of living. And when you can understand that, and something happens to you that you suffer through, it goes much smoother for the soul, for the person, for the human being. And in my research of all of this, I came across a prophet. He goes by the name of Edgar Casey. He was born in the late 1800s and died in, I believe, 1945. A majority of he used to be put in a trance, and it started out for the healing of human beings' health, because when he was in this trance, people would come and they'd ask him questions, and he would say what to do to help or cure that person. And that went well. And during these readings, he's made there were many, 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 many predictions that were true. Major world things. And one of them happened to be, and the reason why I came across this man, I wasn't out there looking at prophets or wrong word, they call him a prophet, but I'm losing my train of thought here because of it, but we'll say a medium, a medium, someone who can get into that frequency to see what there is and what's happening and what's going to happen. And it's because, and one of his major things was that reincarnation. And I was taught to believe that reincarnation doesn't exist as a Catholic. So, and my mom was Lutheran, as I said, and a Sunday school teacher. And I didn't get a chance to tell my mom this story because she passed away 5.5 months after my auto accident. I told her some, but I was so out of it at the time. She knew I died. And she came back. She was told I was going to be dead within half an hour, and that's what she believed until somebody finally told her differently. which was a while. I think it was 24, longer than that, hours. Um, and I wish I had, because my mom was very close to God. And anyone can be close to God if they choose to be. You don't have to even, so to speak, follow your religion. And I know people with religion who can watch this and say, nah, look what he's doing, da 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 da. I'm telling you, God hears all prayers, and that we're all in this together. And one religion shouldn't be judging the other religion. I wish it was possible for them to live in harmony, as I wish people could live in harmony. Sounds corny, but it's the truth. People are cruel to one another. They're cruel to this planet. They're cruel to the animals. They're cruel to, and I'm not one of these. I'm going to say the words. I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not this. I'm just a person whose soul, I'm a loving, caring person, but I also have a strong soul who will not deal with darkness, so to speak, or another soul's, I don't know. It's a very confusing subject, but I will say what I'm saying, and I'm sticking to what I say, what I saw, and what I have come to know. And if you look at your life, you'll understand, and just be open-minded to that we are all souls and we are all connected together. And that there is, I'm using the words hell, but there's a dark side. There is a serious dark side, and it seems to be expanding and has expanded more than the light side, but the light side will always reign out, and they will. Souls. And then at the end of this whole process of what I saw, I was told, and flamed out black sound, I was getting another chance. Truth. I was getting another chance. And the funny part was, is when I woke up after being out from all this trauma, I didn't remember this immediately because I didn't even know who my name was, but it was there. And I didn't even know where I was when I woke up for a long time. I mean, it was just craziness, what I suffered and how I woke up and I woke. And there was many stories behind my accident. And even the FBI investigated the possibility that it wasn't an accident at all, and that someone had cut the brake lines, or that the person that I was with had knocked me unconscious and jumped out of my vehicle. This is true. I have the documentation to prove that it was investigated, and they're the ones that investigated it, not me, because of what was happening at the time. And to this date, I don't know still the truth behind that accident. But it was very strange that the person I was with, who was supposed to be deemed my security, nothing happened to him. He was at the top of the mountain, and nor did the authorities get called by him. But yet someone else. And I'm just throwing this out there because I'm just telling you the truth of what happened. And it was from that moment on, from that accident, that my life changed. That was my end, but my beginning. And that's the strange part, because some things happened over the next 14 years that were against what I would ever think to do, meaning, or it's not me. I'm not that person. I'm a good-hearted person, and I'm not defending myself. And I make mistakes like everybody else. Everyone makes mistakes. But I've come to see that we're all in this together, and that One thing from this accident, I will never look at a handicapped or an injured person. Or prior to this accident, you look at people who have suffered from illnesses or diseases or mental retardation or auto accidents. They've been disfigured, you name it. I could have and should have been disfigured as well from this. And I was blessed with someone who, a doctor, a laser surgeon type dermatologist, who studied lasers in Israel, CO2 and photoderm lasers, and that's where they were developed from burn victims, who made my face look the way it looks now. Not without a lot of work. And that's why I said everything happens for a reason. And these different things that happen to you in your life, you must move forward every day as if it's a new day, because it really is a new day. But you cannot forget the lessons that you learned on your walk in the past. And the ones you've learned in another lifetime show their face in the decisions that you make, and the gifts that you have, and how you treat others, and just in who your whole being is. And you'll meet people that cross your path. You have no idea how come they've crossed your path. Even on the internet, people see somebody and go, wow, I feel drawn to that person. Or there's a reason for it. There's a reason for everything. And most of them, not most, all of them, if they're true, are because that person knew the person before. And it's good. You meet other souls that you knew in another lifetime. It's almost like it's like deja vu. Or you can be a place on this planet, and you'll be like, and it could be in another country, and you'll be like, and you're drawn to that place. I have to visit that place, or I have to go here or there. Usually it's because if you're that drawn to it, at another point in time, you were there for something as part of your life. It could be Egypt. It could be, Ireland. It could be anywhere. Because in some form, you were there. And again, this is... I'm glad I was given another chance. I'm not glad, much more than that. And it's kind of funny, I've come full fold. And I see it all so clearly now, and I know who I am as a person now. And I've hurt a lot of people along the way. A lot of people. And I'm sorry for that. I'm very sorry for that. And a lot of it, especially when I was younger, was unknowingly, unintentionally. That's for all of us. We go by what we believe we're doing the right thing, and it turns out, that it's not. Or without the intention, you promise to do something for someone and then you don't do it. But the intention was there as good. And that's what is looked at in all of this. And you have to be strong. You have to survive. You have to survive in a world that is, as I did a show last weekend, be a wolf or sheep. But wolf or sheep, we are all connected. And the love of another, and I mean love, not you have to be passionate love. I mean the love of humans and human beings in general, and life in general, to love life. If you look around you and just see how everything operates, it's not a coincidence. It's not some, farce. And there's so many people that I see are closed-minded to that they don't want to open their mind. And they live in the world of like, this can't be, because they don't want to believe that something And it's very simple. It's really very simple. How we all got created, I have no idea. I have no idea. And that's too deep for me to even want to fathom. And you know what? I don't really care how we were created. I wasn't shown that. What I care about is that what I have been shown and what happens now and what's happened since then. And that hopefully I can help other people understand that, and so that they're not afraid of dying, or they're not afraid of making decisions and falling and getting up, and that they can treat each other. And yeah, you're going to get angry at people, and some people you have to deal with. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But we're really all in this together, and for you to show compassion to others and to understand why some people made the decisions they have in their life, and not to judge other people. You know, joking around at things is fun and fine, etc., to a point. But the humbleness and the reality of it all is we're all in this together. We are all here together. And after that accident, I was a mess. Oh my God, was I a mess? And I don't just mean physically or mentally. I mean, my life was a mess. Everything was a mess. Haven't seen my daughter since. Raybell, I saw her one time as a baby in Antigua. My ex had brought her down there. And during this point, after my accident, I lost my mom. And it was a couple years of just, I don't even remember most of it. I mean, I remember parts of it, but I don't remember most of it because I was in oblivion. One from the swelling in my brain from the accident, the other because and into alcohol and just living my life on a beach somewhere, trying to figure out who I was and how I got there and everything I saw, and dealing with some other issues that had come up from this as well, serious issues, which I'll be getting into, but not tonight. It's a very, very, and we hurt people along the way. And the idea is try not to hurt others. And karma's real. Karma is very, very real. And if you look at your life, you'll see karma's real. And no one is perfect. Understand that when you look at somebody, you have no idea what they're going through, or where they've been, or the shoes that they've walked in. So don't be so fast to pass judgment, because you have no idea. And it's something I learned the hard way. And I can remember talking to God, to Jesus as a kid when things were happening to me. And I was kept alive. I suffered through so much, and near death, maybe even, I don't know. I mean, what happened to me when I was young was just, and then what I did to myself thereafter, looking to find myself, and what I did to my body. And I mean, just, I don't mean that, the working 7 days a week, 100 hours plus a week, more than that, the constant stress, the booze, cocaine at times when I was in my 20s. I was on a mission, but the mission wasn't. And yet I was successful, very, very successful, because that part of me was just driven, and I took everything I had to be driven in there, and I still had my daily arguments with God. And if others say the higher being, it's sort of, and one thing I forgot to say is that how it works, it's like a star with all these points. And in the center is the source. And then all the souls are connected to the source. And they can communicate. All souls can communicate. That's why prayer works, especially when multiple people pray. I will say this, that and please, I don't want anybody to really take this the wrong way, but I'm going to say it, that people who believe if they do X, Y, and Z, you're going to go to hell if they do that. And it's one thing about Catholics, and I was born and raised Catholic, but I had the best of both worlds, Lutheran, Catholic. I'm very close to a lot of friends who are Jewish. I understand that religion well, plus I've studied it. Because over the years, I had to study what happened to me to see where it was coming from and if it was real. And it is real. I know it's real now. It's not some dream. That's not the only thing you remember out of that. And I'm not the only person who's seen similar. And I found that out by doing research and reading and reading and reading and reading and talking to others and priests and rabbis, as I said before. But you have to, don't be so stuck that you're going to do something wrong. Or I'm going to say this, the Bible has been, for the great words that it is, has been twisted so far around and by the rules and regulations by leaders to control people. And the religions that do it the right way, to where they preach the word, so to speak. They preach the word, and it's up to the individual. They don't shove it down their throat. They don't tell them they're going to, it's like if somebody says if you commit adultery, you're going to go to hell. That's not what I saw. And that's the truth. Or you even murder, you'll be forgiven for. Unless it's by a dark soul, and there's a whole different part of this, and I haven't gotten into that because it's bizarre. I mean, very bizarre. The dark side is, as I said, there's souls that are dark. So if someone just comes up and murders somebody in cold blood and they don't have a mental illness and they don't have, see, here's the problem. The soul's in the body, in the human body. The soul is your conscience, but the brain makes the decisions. So it's very difficult to get all that together. But if somebody comes up and wantonly murders somebody in cold blood and they're not mentally ill, pretty much I would say that that's a dark soul, that they're evil. And there's evil out there. And if you see it, I don't even like watching the news because it's horrible things that you see. And the horrible things that have happened over the centuries of this world. I mean, you're talking for religion, there's bloody wars, bloody wars for religion. And I agree that Christianity, Muslims, Buddhists, it doesn't matter. If they were fighting for what they believed in, then it was correct for them. And God allowed, it's free will. God's like, from what I saw, you want to go out and murder each other and kill each other and again, basically exterminate yourselves on this planet, then go ahead and do it. I gave you the chance. I gave you the free will to decide. And remember, what decisions you make and what you do, you're going to get back while you're here on this planet, while you're here on Earth. Do unto others as you do to yourself, and treat others as you want to be treated. I know this is a long show tonight, and I apologize. It's 2 parts, and it ended up being 2 parts because in the midst of this, my computer crashed. Why, I have no idea. It's never done that before in the middle of this, but it has. And just please know, everyone is loved by the Creator, so to speak. Everyone here has a purpose. Everyone here has a path. Everyone here is important. Everyone here is, you are meant to shine. You're meant to live a life of happiness. But You were given we were all given free will to choose. And when I keep saying free will, I know some religions preach that, some religions don't. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is just what I know, have come to know, and what I saw. I basically was told. It's free will. And don't forget that. And that's why choose wisely and make your decisions. Like, think about others before you act. And that was a big problem with my life when I was younger. I thought about others. I loved others. I have a good soul. But I got caught up in money and power, and thus then that becomes greed and pride and you name it. And yeah, they're all in there. You want to call them the sins. But that's the path. That's the lesson in it all. So if you don't fall, if you don't fall, you'd never be able to learn. And if you're without free will, you'd never be able to learn or make a decision. You just think about it. What would we be here if you didn't have the choice to choose? I believe the more we are enlightened, the better decisions we will make, the more we will learn, and thus the more we'll be happy. And then in the end, not exterminate ourselves, so to speak, not implode our planet, and thus us. And that's what we're doing. We are imploding ourselves every day. And I see more and more people being enlightened as well. I hope some of this has made some sense. I mean, this is a show and a topic that I wanted to do, but I haven't. I put off talking about what I saw for a very, very long time and shared it with only certain people, and it was only little bits and pieces. Much more happened to me after that auto accident that I had to get through to find myself and who Scott Binsack was. And anyone if somebody's watching this that I hurt or did something to, or please know I'm very, very sorry. None of it was ever intentional. None of it. And I've hurt many, and many have hurt me. And that's the choices we make and the decisions we make. Just remember that they all have, there's karma. And that's part of the process. It's part of the process. The souls need to be refined. And don't get trapped. Don't get trapped. And don't be afraid to die. Don't be afraid to die. And what I mean by that, when I say that there's a hell, if you've committed you want to call sin, you're not going to hell. Sorry. I know the Pope would agree. Deep down inside, I just know the Pope would agree because God forgives everything and everybody. However, there's just some souls, and that's how this works. Some souls, they have to make the choice to live and believe and just be. If they refuse to, you want to go by the Bible, it's the good angel that was cast, so to speak, that's what it is. Soul refuses. You're given free will. I refuse to do that. I refuse to believe that this is this. I refuse to do this. I refuse to do that. Well, so be it. But you don't have to be, no one's meant to be perfect. That's part of this whole process. And why this whole process exists, I mean, from how it generated, I have no idea. I have my theories, but I'm not going to, I have my theories. And again, it's from what I've saw, what I've researched, and what I know in my life. And I've had people come to me recently and say, and I've had it in my life before that, but more so recently, how could one person suffer through so much? Suffer through lots. A lot of it by my own hand. In other words, my own decisions. Um, and a lot not by my hand. One other very important thing in this is as a soul grows, and I want to get this in here because I'm already going on, this is too long for a show, 2 shows here together, is that, I'm losing train of thought again, as um, I remember what I was going to say here. As the soul um, gets refined and comes back, eventually you reach the plane and you go to heaven. And it's an incredible place from what I saw. And it's, again, I'm not going to go into the Bible, but it's an incredible place. And there's no hate, no, none of it. It's just souls. Happy. And more than that, I can't even use the word happy. When I saw it, what a beautiful thing that is. And I saw the other, man, I don't want to go there. I just don't. And by seeing that, you come to find yourself and you figure it out. And the decisions you make are better ones, and how you treat other people are better. But out of all this, just so you know, you're not expected to be perfect. Even Jesus got mad at the bankers in his father's house and the peddlers, and threw their stuff over and got angry. So the getting angry and doing these things is not sin. It's normal. It's normal. It's how you control it and how you use it is the key. And what you do with the resources that you've been given and the gifts that you've been given and the lessons you've learned from past experiences. And you don't remember them, but they're there. They're there. And if you think about what I'm saying, they're there. Like I said, if you're a soldier in another life and yet you're a banker now, you might have those tendencies, and it's all there. It's all there. And there is a time coming, from what I saw, that there's going to be complete enlightenment, but it's not before serious tragedy happens here. And it's already happening. And I'm not prophesizing. I'm not trying to prophesize. It just takes common sense to see our planet is shifting, our poles have shifted, and things are changing. And I'm not prophesying. This stuff is fact. Whether it matches prophecy, I don't know. I mean, that's, I don't have the, not going to be researching that. If it happens, it happens. It is what it is. But I just know it's happening. It's hard to say, but I know my haters are going to take this and turn this into something else and da 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 da. And you know what? I don't care. I really don't care, because I'm of sound, sane mind, and I'm just telling you what I saw and what I've come to believe, and everybody's entitled to their own beliefs. And I'm not trying to change anybody's beliefs, except for the fact that we're all in this together. And that's the principle. We're all in this together, and what you do affects everything and everyone around you. And that you should love one another. People need to love one another and be kind to one another, as well as to this planet. And just so you know, people can change. I did, and this was the ending of it. You can change. This is the key, and thank God I just remembered it, because you can change. People can change the outcome of what can be or may be. In other words, if souls come together, example is that, you know, when people come together, souls come together at a time of tragedy, and there's lots of prayer, and there's lots of, it's amazing what can be done. And people can change, thus the souls can change the destiny of the planet. And how we live, and what the outcomes can be. It can be changed. In other words, it's always evolving and changing. That's as I stated in another video, but there was more a motivational video of using the wolf and the sheep comparison. But everything is always evolving. Everything. It just is constantly evolving and evolving, and it comes from what we put out there. What you put out, you're going to receive. And I say it with people. What you emanate, you're going to attract. That's how powerful the soul is and how powerful the human brain is. What you put out there and what you believe is what's going to happen. It's very true. And you don't have to go everywhere to find all this. It's right here. Sometimes it takes someone else to trigger it, or something tragic to trigger it, or you're somewhere and you hear something and you're like, you get a rude awakening, like an enlightenment, an epiphany, so to speak. Pay attention to those. It's all here. We have the knowledge. It's endless. We are endless as a species. It's amazing. But we keep imploding ourselves. We keep destroying ourselves. Hate, greed, power, lust, you name it. And I'm talking heavy duty stuff here. I'm talking the stuff there's so much heavy duty that goes on that people don't realize by some very not nice people that have a whole different outlook on the world. So again, I'm sorry this show is so long. I just wanted to be honest and share this, and I so that others truly understand. Be kind to one another. And you only have one life while you're here. And now some people with reincarnation believe, I can do whatever I want here. I'm coming back again. No, that's not how you're granted the gift to come back again. Because you won't be getting into heaven and I'm using the words heaven, but you won't be getting into heaven if you decide and come to the belief that, yeah, I can do whatever I want here because I believe in reincarnation and I'm going to come back. No. That's a gift that people are given, and souls keep coming back. But not every soul is given that to come back. And some souls want to learn specific lessons. They have to learn these lessons, so thus they pick the path. Truth, I'm telling you. They pick the path. They pick the parents. They pick the path. And it could be for a month. A baby could be born for a month, but whatever that is, the soul had to learn it. That sounds crazy. As well as, here's the key. When a soul comes back and it's going into, it's born into two other souls, that's the family, the parents, what happens with that soul affects the other souls, i.e. the parents. Just like one soul here affects another soul next to it, or the parent. That's how it all works. So whatever happens, we'll say with a child's death, it affects the souls that are next to it and how they deal with it and how they handle it and what they learn from it and what they get out of it. Not just the soul that came back. It's a never ending. We're all connected. Everything is connected. And thus everything is always moving and working, and the energy is just, it's amazing. But it's just there. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. It's endless. It's endless. There is no end. That's what I'm telling you. There is no end. There is no end. And why, I have no idea. No idea. Probably will never know until I'm completely dead. But I do know this. You know the main part of it as soon as you die. It's all very simple. And I'm telling you the best way I know how to explain what I saw. This is the way that you will understand what I saw. What I truly, truly saw is just, I can't put it in. This is the best way for me to put in words. And it's scary. And it's incredible at the same time. Beautiful, but scary. And just blow your mind. Blow your mind. But I do know everything happens for a reason. And I'm going to stress it again, we're all connected. That doesn't mean you're supposed to be best friends with everybody. What I'm saying is it's how you look at everyone else, and thus how you treat anyone that crosses your path. So please understand the point of what I'm saying. And it was very clear. It's not, be kind to those who cross your path. And if you happen to cross the path of a dark one, protect yourself and your soul. It's not a nice thing. It's not nice at all. Not nice at all. God bless and thank you for joining me.